Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. As you can see, I am back out here at the hangar. Today, we are going to be working on running the floor joist for the second floor. So let's jump right into it and let's get going. Hey guys, it is the next day, and this is what we got done yesterday as far as floor joist and subfloor for the second floor. As you can see, we got right at around a third of the subfloor up and floor joists up. So we are gonna keep going on it today, but before we get started, I'm gonna walk around and kind of show you what we got going on. So here is the view from down below as I'm in the kitchen walking back towards the living room. As you can see, we got kind of the first two sections done in between the far wall and the beam, and then in between these first two main beams. We got all the floor joists in place, and we are laying down the subfloor as well. So the way we have our floor joist on is they're set, of course, they're set on top of the second top plates on these walls, and then the other sides are set up on top of the beams. You can see that there's overlap between all the beams. So as we designed the floor joists, we're not having to cut any of the 2x8s. We're just putting them up. And so all the 2x8s will overhang all the way from the wall and go all the way across and overhang with the other floor joists. So the floor joists are toe-nailed into the beams, toe-nailed into the top plates, and then they're nailed together. And like I said, all of it's been designed so that we don't have to cut anything. You just let the overlap be what the overlap's gonna be. So in all of these gaps in the living room, we're using 2x8 by 12 footers. It'll be 2x8 by 12 footers all the way down. On the living side, this first room that we did was also 2x8 by 12 footers. But as we got into this next span, which this next span covers the bathroom all the way through my closet, these are 10 footers. So those are our short, or not our shortest span, our next to shortest span. Our longest span is where we're actually gonna get started here today, and that's across the master bedroom. And the span across the master bedroom from outside edge of that wall to outside edge of that wall is just around a little over 13 feet. So 12 footers wouldn't work. So we're gonna end up doing 16 footers all the way across here. But the limit on 2x8 joists on 16-inch centers is a 12-foot span. And since this is a little bit longer than a 12-foot span, what we're gonna do is we're actually gonna double the joists up. So everywhere that there's supposed to be a joist, we'll put 2 instead of decreasing the spacing to like a 12-foot spacing, we'll keep them on 16-inch spacing, but we'll just double them up. And that'll allow us to keep these same kind of openings between the floor joists running all the way north-south through the house. And here's what it looks like up top. So we are using a 3/4 inch plywood subfloor, tongue and groove plywood subfloor. As we're putting it down, we of course put glue on all the joists before you put the plywood down. And I am nailing it down by spacing my nails fairly tightly. So, there's a lot of debate about whether you can nail or screw down subfloor. We're going with nails, and we're just spacing them out probably, 5 to 6 inches at most, probably closer to 4 inches in most cases. We're just putting lots of nails down as opposed to screws to try and keep the floor from squeaking. But sitting up here now, it feels very solid, very happy with how it's coming along. So we're gonna hop to it today, and I'll show you what it looks like either tonight or tomorrow morning. Alright guys, it is the next day and this is how much we have down of the floor joist and the subfloor. As you can see, we're making pretty good progress. I'd estimate we're probably 2/3 done with the whole floor joist subfloor work. So 2 days so far, probably another day and a half left. But let's go walk over and take a look at it. Here we are in the living room, walking back towards the kitchen. As you can see, we have all the floor joist up in the living room kitchen area all the way up into the last span here in the kitchen. So we're just missing this one last span of floor joists here. And then over here on this other side, we're only missing floor joists here across the master closet in the utility room. So those are all the joists are up aside from that. And we got a good portion of it decked. We have it decked all the way back to this sheet. This sheet here is fastened down. And then we have this entire row is fastened down. So probably, 3/5 of the decking down and 4/5 of the joist up. So this was our last span of 12-foot joists yesterday. This was our first span of 10-foot joists. This last span here will be 10-foot joists, and this span over here over the utility room will be 8-foot joists. We did get the longer joists up that go over the master bedroom. As you can see in the master bedroom, this was the only span that was more than 12 feet. So instead of making my spacing different from 16 inches, we just doubled them up. And the reason we did that was because 2x8 joists are only good for 16-inch spacing on a 12-foot span, at least for my live load. And instead of making them on a 1-foot span, that would ruin having this pathway that goes all the way north-south for running utilities and stuff through. So we just doubled this stud up, or this joist up and this joist up, so that we could keep that same consistent pathway for running utilities through. You can see here we started doing a little bit of blocking. These joists had a whole lot of twist to them, so we put some blocking where we had to try and square up the joists. But after we're done, I'll go through and add blocking where I think we need it throughout all the floor joists. But yeah, looking good. Let's go look at it from up top. So here we are up top. You can see how much we have of the subfloor down. You can see how much more, or how many more joists we have left to pick up. So we are getting short. Walk over here. Take a look at it back towards the living room and the shop. This is going to be a real big open space up here. So once again, we're doing all the floor joists in the subfloor so that we can come back and turn it into a 2-story house later if we decide, but we are not going to just immediately turn it into a 2-story house. So in the meantime, up here is going to be storage and additional shop space. So you can see this is going to be a real big open room up here. I mean, it's going to be a 1,500 square foot room, so real big open mezzanine. And there's a lot of stuff we can do. We'll probably build shelves all along these walls here that go up to as high as they can for storage, and anything in the opening of the room, I'm sure I'll fill up with stuff. I'm pretty good at accumulating stuff. But okay, let's get back to it, back to work. All right, guys, it is the next afternoon, and yesterday we finished up putting all the floor joist and subfloor down. This morning we got up and we returned a bunch of lumber that I had left over. I had ordered a bunch of extra lumber for framing because I'd rather have too much than not enough. So we took all that back, but I'm back here at the hangar now. My dad is taken off, so let's turn around and take a look at how the floor joists and subfloor turned out. So here we are in the living room. As you can see, all the joists are up, subfloor is down, so all that is done. All of the joist running north-south. I know I've said this over and over again, but that's gonna make a huge difference when I'm trying to run electrical and stuff, electrical and plumbing and HVAC throughout the house. All I gotta do is pick a gap between the joists and I can go from one end of the house all the way to the other without having to drill any holes or do anything crazy. But all done here in the kitchen. Over on the living side, you can see it's all done over there as well. So it turned out really good. Very, very, very happy with how it turned out. Let's go take a look at it from up top. And here it is. It is a full 1,500 square foot. The entire living space is done, so all the floor joists are up and the subfloor is down. As you can see over here, I actually got some paint. So after thinking about it, I don't know when we are going to go ahead and eventually make it a 2-story house. In the meantime, this whole area I'm gonna be using kind of the plan is storage and woodworking shop, and then I can have all of the metalworking and automotive shop over here on the hangar side. But because it may be like this for quite a while, you know, several years, I decided to go ahead and paint it just to give it a little bit more longevity and make it look a little bit nicer. So I bought all of the slate gray floor paint they had at Home Depot. I bought every single gallon. Hopefully we have enough. I got 7 gallons, and I'm gonna go over here and try and roll it on. All right, guys, it is the next morning and I have let the paint dry, but it turned out pretty good. So let's turn around and take a look at it. And there it is. It turned out really nice. There's a couple places, just little places here and there that I want to go back and touch up the paint, but I am not going to be able to do that today. I am actually taking off and head back to work this morning. But there it is. Nice coat of gray paint. Nice. Nice kind of finished look, because it may be like this for a long time. So I really wanted to get this paint down now before I started storing stuff up here. And that's it, guys. That's going to do it for this episode. I appreciate you watching, but I actually have to take off today and head back to work. So I was out here for about 4 days. My dad was out here for 3 days of actually doing the framing and work on it. So 4 days of work. Got all of the subfloor and floor joists for the second floor done. Very, very happy with the progress. So stay tuned and I'll catch you on the next one.